But first, at the end of July, Ofcom, the Office for Communications, released their review on introducing VRS, Video Relay Services. But do its recommendations go far enough for the UK's deaf community? For over 100 years, the deaf community have experienced real problems in accessing the phone. Deaf people in the UK are way behind our American counterparts. As well as a text phone relay service, they also have a video relay service, VRS, where you sign to an interpreter on a screen who voices via a headset everything you sign, and vice versa.
In the UK, deaf people rely mostly on type talk to make relay calls. Written English can be difficult for deaf signers, which can lead to long gaps in conversation.
He's just beginning to type to me.
VRS eliminates such drawbacks, but access to the service is limited.
Big pizza, what would you like to order?
Hello, I'd like to order a cheese and tomato pizza.
Today, here at the government's Department for Culture, Media and Sport, a meeting is taking place which could change everything.
For the past year, deaf charities, video relay providers and others have been campaigning for VRS to be provided at the same rate as text relay.
A recent European directive in 2009 and again in 2010 identified that deaf and hearing people must have equal access to telephone services. It's called the equivalent. It means that as a deaf BSL user myself, my access is through video relay interpreting. Ofcom has researched and proven that deaf people need access to video relay interpreting, and that's a step forward, positive for the campaign. We'll have to see what the ministers say.
The VRS Today campaign is funded by Sorensen Communications, a major American provider of VRS. Paul Kashiznik is Chief Marketing Officer.
Every deaf person in the United States knows about VRS, but that's not the case here in the UK. It's been going on in the UK on a very limited basis, usually through access to work. And so there was a lot of work for us to raise awareness about VRS. But the overall objective of the campaign is to get universal access to VRS for every signing deaf person in the UK.
Today, campaigners and various telecom companies are meeting with Government Minister Ed Vaizey to discuss Ofcom's recommendations.
I'm the Minister for Communications, so I'm responsible for telephone services, the internet and so on. And effectively Ofcom, which is the regulator and is completely independent of government, but if anyone has an oversight, as it were, of the work that Ofcom does, it's me and this department.
There's some research that proposes deaf people out there have access to video relay services allocated at 30 minutes. Not per day, per month. This seems unworkable. Certainly when you phone the insurance company, for example, you could be waiting easily for 30 minutes. That's your allocated time gone, and you've got to wait for the next month before you can call anybody, and that's clearly unsuitable. And also they recommend a time from 9 AM to 5 PM. Deaf people do have lives in the evening, and they might want to call family or friends, but they have to call during working hours, and some people can't do that.
If unlimited VRS became reality, how would the telecommunications companies facilitate this? For example, if it was to launch nationwide, and what would the cost be?
In Ofcom's report, they said that VRS was very expensive. The reasons are, 1, because of the interpreters, because they are expensive. 2, technology is also expensive. And thirdly, the internet connection you must have needs to be very good quality and must use fibre optic cables, which is costly. The expert IT technicians who know about video relay services are very few and far between, so they are also expensive. Together, that's the expense. But, just to say, tech services cost about 70p per minute. VRS costs about £3 per minute. Tech service is 4 times slower than VRS, so 70 times 4 equals £2.80. Video calls, on the other hand, are £3 for the equivalent time, so there is a time saving there. But certainly it is expensive, and that's something we have to accept.
For many years, deaf people have been using text services, which seem to be fine. So why will they take up VRS?
Deaf people already have their own ways of communicating. Socially, deaf people use email and text messaging. One area, however, that I feel will definitely benefit is the workplace, where deaf people might need to have live, here and now conversations. If they email someone that's not there, they can't call them. That will certainly be a benefit. Will the service take off? Well, I feel the uptake will be slow.
With email, text messaging, social networking sites and webcams, do deaf people even need VRS anymore?
For the signing deaf person, the only equivalent means to access telecoms is through video. VRS is the only equivalent means for a signing person to access telecoms. It's not text, and it's not some other technology. It's video relay service.
The meeting now over, most people seem happy with the progress made.
Well, I thought the meeting was very constructive. I mean, all meetings take a while to get going, but we eventually got a good and healthy debate going, people expressing their views pretty forcefully, but in a reasonable way.
So, do you think today's meeting has brought about some resolutions? Or is there more to be done?
No, there's clearly a long way to go. The one thing that's important is that the Minister is fully behind the deaf community on this matter. The important message from all of us to the deaf community is don't give up now. Keep going and keep on fighting to carry on to tell their experiences of using telecommunications, to keep going, to keep fighting so that the MPs don't give up. It's an ongoing battle.
I hope that the telcos, telecom companies and the deaf charities that were there, having made contact, will then go away and talk amongst themselves about ways forward. That's really, for me, would be the ideal way to take this process forward.
This is the first time that the telecommunications companies have actually listened directly to deaf people, and it's been a bit of a shock for them.
Instead of whispers and rumours,
Yes.
you've got to tell them how it is.
Important.
Well, the meeting's over. And now, I'm off to Downing Street to see for myself what's happening. High-profile meetings at the heart of government, petitions delivered to number 10. But will it be enough?
Well, I've said to the operators, if you want a system that works for you, that is cost-effective, but provides opportunities for the deaf community, come to the table with your own solution. So that's the invitation I've given to telecoms operators. And if they don't come to the table with that solution, then I'm afraid government through Ofcom will impose a solution on them.
We'll keep you posted on any new developments. And if you'd like to find out more about the issues discussed, look at the See Here website. Now, the ear is one of the most complex systems in the body. But what do you know about how it actually functions? A roadshow has been travelling across the UK to help answer just that.